First day that we met the birth father was on the day that we had court. We went into the court building and we met him there. He was so gracious. He just came over and just kept hugging us and hugging us. And then after court was over, we were able to go back to the guest house and have a birth parent interview with him. And we spent about probably 30 minutes with him.
And amazingly enough, he was, he seemed, you know, I felt like I felt a lot more awkward about the situation than he did. I think somehow maybe God prepared him, but he actually seemed kind of at peace with it.
I apologized to him and I just said, I'm so sorry all of this has happened. And the thing that was so profound to me was he said, who am I to question our great God? And I've never seen anybody with that kind of faith before, that all of these horrible, hurtful things have happened to him, and his faith is still, who am I to question what is happening? And I'm going to trust that. The one thing he did say was, he said, the one thing I am trusting is I prayed for God to bring people to my kids that would follow after God. He'd listed all of these things off that he had prayed for his kids. And
he had said to look at, for us to see him as Job, and that to not worry about the why of the situation. But I mean, he obviously had to put himself in the, he had to kind of prepare himself for this, and that's something that, you know, it's hard to really imagine.
During the embassy trip, it was probably a couple of nights before we left to fly home. We had one last meeting with the birth dad, and the birth dad came to the guest house, and we were able to spend the afternoon, and the kids did jump rope and bubbles, and their birth dad was so gracious, and he sat them down, all three of them, and of course we understood really very little of what he was saying to them, but our guide was trying to translate most of it, and he gave them each instruction, and he gave instruction to Joshua for a very long time, and then he gave instruction to Ruth for a very long time, and he gave instruction to Deborah. And I do remember one of the things, Deborah was having a hard time, and he looked at me and he said, if you would just give her bread, she will be happy. Do you remember that?
He told Joshua that he thought it would be good if he got into the church and got into a position with the church, and you know, something he wanted.
Well, he told Ruth, he was very clear with Ruth too. He said, Ruth, these people have been sent by God to care for you, and you need to obey them. I mean, he was very clear with her, and and you know, with us, he was so gracious to us, and he said, please know you have someone praying for you every day. And we gave him pictures of all of us because we had taken them on the home trip, on the court trip. And he said, I have those pictures you gave me, and and I will be praying every single day for you and for my children. And he was just a very gracious man, a very good man, and just very unfortunate circumstances in his life, but a good man. And watching him say goodbye to his kids, it was heartbreaking. And I had not been a mom then, and so I didn't really understand the depth of what I was watching. And to think now that I would have to ever separate from my three kids would break my heart. And knowing what he was forced to do in his lifetime was hard to watch. But what he said to us was, because we said, what is one thing we can do for your kids? And the number one thing he said to us was, what I'm asking of you is to please make sure they know Jesus so that I may see them again when I get to heaven. And so the day that Joshua became a Christian, the summer that he got home, and Ruth became a Christian in January of this year, and one more to go. One more to go with Dib. So when she gets a little older and has a greater understanding of it. But yeah, the birth dad is a wonderful man, wonderful man.